It is officially here. Super Bowl. Philadelphia Eagles, Kansas City Chiefs, two young stud quarterbacks, both going head-to-head, leading high-powered offenses, absolute studs on the outside, crazy, crazy fast receivers all over the place, both sides of the ball, stud running backs, but I'm not interested in any of that right now. What I want to talk about is the offensive line. To all the big boys out there, this one's for you. Here we go.
That's unbelievable.
Now, if you're sitting there thinking, well, I don't really care about the offensive line. I want to see touchdowns. I want to see 50-yard bombs, 40-yard runs at a time, and Mahomes falling down, slinging its sidearm while he's parallel to the ground, smacking a receiver in the face. I get it. You have a point. But here's the thing. I'm an offensive coordinator. So when I watch this, I'm looking for totally different things. I'm looking for good play design. I'm looking for the fundamentals, guys getting their technique, executing the process, all that good stuff. Now, that might seem boring to you, but
Know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni.
I'd be willing to bet that Mahomes would rather see that as well than be forced to make another diving throw where, again, he smacks the ball in his receiver's face and they drop it. He doesn't want that. He wants a good, clean pocket. He wants his guys executing properly. And that's because he knows as well as I do that offensive line play is going to be the critical factor in this game. You cannot win a Super Bowl if your offensive line is playing poorly. End of story. So let's jump into the film because I want to show you exactly what I'm talking about when I talk about good offensive line play. So we got a couple of clips here from their Week 4 matchup of the 2021 season. So let's jump into this. So they're going to run a split outside zone. So essentially what they're going to run is outside zone here. And then normally you'd have this type of combination up to this backer, and he'd be reaching for this defensive end. But they do this a little bit differently. They're going to have him take play side leverage here, and he's going to take play side leverage. They leave this guy unblocked, and then everything else is going to remain the same. So then what they're going to do is they're going to read. Mahomes' eyes are going to be right on this guy. If he stays wide enough or stays here, then we can just hand the ball off. But if he commits, then we have a nice slant coming behind it. Let's watch at the point of attack here. This is going to be the key block. And look at the job that they do of working over. Guard's going to hit, raise up the level, let the center take over. Now look where the center's butt is going to be. So we're really creating a nice lane for this guy to run in. He's taking this play side leverage here, right? And then we're going to climb off, get to this backer from the guard, all right? And that's going to create a huge opening. And he's going to go for 20-some yards before he even gets touched. Now this is the type of stuff that's going to win championships. These are the chunk plays. You want to get at least 10 to 20 of these chunk plays in the Super Bowl. That's what they're aiming for. All right, and if they can do that, that's going to be fantastic for them and put them in a position to win the game here. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at this thing from the Chiefs here. Now, this is an interesting play because when you look at this, you think, hey, this is fantastic. They could do this all day long. All right, that's the first thought that comes into my mind. And hey, you know, you got this guy out here, Tyreek Hill. He's crazy fast. He's not there anymore. Thankfully, he's in Miami. But the thing that worries me about this, look at this protection. Okay, I want you to think about this for a second. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. He's going to chip and head out of here. They've got 8 guys, and realistically, they're only rushing 4. So they have 2 blockers for every guy who is rushing. This is not the formula that you're looking for. Right? From an offensive coordinator's perspective, you do not want to have to do that. Ideally, you can go 5 for 5 or 6 for 6, but you don't want to go 8 for 4, right? That screams a lack of confidence in their ability to actually maintain and hold that pocket. So that's something that I would definitely be worried about as a Chiefs fan, which I'm not. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the Eagles side of things. So this is a very interesting concept here. So they're going to run a fake here, which is going to hold this backer. He's going to sneak out of here and take play side leverage of the guy who's directly head up. Generally, that's not a good idea, but when you have this fake, that really helps. And then everything else is going to be essentially just a power type of play with this guy staying and kicking out this edge. And then we're going to read this defensive end. Okay, so if he commits upfield, great, no problem. Now we keep it. Now we have a leader up to this safety who's coming down into the box. And I want you to take a look at the leverage they're taking. This is going to create a nice little running lane. So he can pick in here or in here. And he basically just has to read these blocks. Now the tackle pulling around, he's going up against a pretty athletic safety. This is the problem with having a guy try to block somebody in space who's far more athletic than him. But Hurts does a great job of making this guy miss, right? But this is a good example of great play design and pretty good execution from the offensive line. And now we have another situation. Imagine we end up making this block, right? If we make this block, he's going to go 10 yards without getting touched, all right? And if he misses this block, which is what he does, and this guy makes the tackle, we can see that this could have been a 10-yard gain, but it turned into a 2-yard gain, all because we missed one block. Luckily, Hurts is crazy athletic, so that makes a huge difference here. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the pass game here. So this is a half slide protection, and they're trying to sell the run. All right, so what they end up doing is watch this center. When he takes a snap, he's taking off. This says everything about run right here. We think run, run, run. All right, so then these backers have to commit too. So this is a great job by him. And now essentially what they're going to have, and this is something you'll see all the time in the NFL, watch these guys right here. They're going to chip, and then release. What this does is it helps the offensive line ensure that they get the block. So it's just a little bit of a chip. He's gonna get a bigger chip here. And then he's gonna be C gap, B gap, A gap. All right, and then they're manned up on the backside. He's gonna check backers inside out, so there's no backer in here, so he can release into his route. And then this is a great job by the tackle and by Hurts moving in the pocket. I mean, look at this pocket here. This is fantastic. If you have this as a quarterback, you're comfortable back here, you can make any throw you want, right? This is a 30-yard play before he even gets touched, all because the offensive line does a great job winning their one-on-one battles and staying on these blocks. This is not an easy thing to do. Watch this guard here. This is not an easy thing to do. He's got to stay on him, hold it. He's moving his feet the entire time, keeping his hands on him. That's a long time to hold a block. It's a great job, and it allows for a huge play. All right, so now let's get into one of the negatives here. So this is going to be a big-on-big protection, and we're going to have the chip, and then they're releasing out, right? So we have 4 down, 1, 2, 3, 4, plus the mic. That's who we're picking up. So in this case, he's manned up. Now we have these two with these two, and he's manned up in here. Okay, so what ends up happening is, one, we get a holding call. He just gets beat with speed, right? 57 just gets beat with speed. He has a nice first step, the defensive end upfield, and then just flies right inside. Okay, so we can see this first step, boom, and then he's going to cross his face, beat him inside, and this is the problem. I don't care who your quarterback is. It does not matter. If you get pressure in your face like this, you are going to make mistakes. It is always going to happen, okay? If there's no pressure here, he zips this in here, and they got a nice completion. But now they have an interception. Game-changing play. Okay, we know that turnovers are going to be the biggest difference in every single game in football. All right, you cannot have this. And this is a common theme. All right, whenever you get pressure, it's going to be a huge issue. And if you look at all the past Super Bowls, anytime you can get really good pressure on a quarterback, that team is probably going to win. So hopefully now you understand why it's so vitally important to actually pay attention to the offensive line as the game is going on. But even with that said, it's very difficult to focus on this during the game without being completely clueless on what else is going on. And you don't want to be like me when I watch a game, okay? Everybody's going to get annoyed. People don't like watching football with me because I can't have the remote. I'll rewind the play 5 times, I'll analyze everything, and then I'll skip all the great commercials that everybody's so excited about. So don't be that guy. He's no fun at parties. The guy that you should be is the one who jumps back onto YouTube after the game to check out my video breakdowns that I have on this channel, which obviously you've subscribed to, so you can see in detail how either one of these teams won the Super Bowl.